Hi guys, so just making another video. So the car's been delivered to Pete with our RX8. You can probably see in the background. It had a water leak, quite bad one. Tried to drive it last night, but bad water leak, and it's so bad that it just turned off on me. And waited for 20 minutes, started it up, it did start, took it back home, didn't take much chances. There it is. Yeah, there it is, the car. Yeah, so I didn't take much chances on the car because it still starts hot and cold. I know I keep on repeating myself like a donkey, starts hot and cold, but believe me guys, on a Mazda Rx8, you just gotta check that if it starts hot and cold and how many seconds it takes. If it's taking a fair amount of seconds, before it starts, then you know either you've got a weak starter, you've got a weak battery, you've got bad leads, you've got bad plugs, or you've got bad coil pack. But saying that, when buying an RX8, you gotta look from the worst case scenario. So those are the good things. So if it's the alternator and the leads and whatnot, it's the good thing because it's not expensive. And once that is done, most RX8s are significantly improved when you put upgraded starter motor. But I always look for the worst case scenario because I can't be testing all that on buying one. So I just go by how it starts, and I just put my suspicion on apex seals or the side seals or the rotors, or it's taking a bit too long to start. So this one, the Red Dragon, I named it, the RX8, which is a more of a project car. I have the other one at home, which is the black one. That one I really like because it's got the aerobatic kit and it's got illuminated gear knob. It's got the pop-up sat nav. It's got the original Mazda aerobatic kit. It's got the Mazda speed exhaust. It's got 48,000 miles with full, pretty much dealer service history. And it's got 3 keys. That's quite rare. It's absolutely mint, and there is no rust anywhere. And the best part is, it's the cheap tax version. It's 2004, I think. Yeah. And they sort of just miss that 600 and something pound tax, which is absolutely ridiculous. But even then, I wouldn't care because I just love driving, as Jeremy Clarkson said once, driving on double green. It is actually that feeling that when you're driving the rotary engines, that revs. Ooh, I just love them. It's ever so smooth. As to a normal petrol or diesel car. However, when you drive the newer diesel cars or petrol cars, they are very nice. But that feeling of an RX8 is absolutely amazing and priceless. I absolutely love and adore how they drive. However, they are not the cheapest cars on the road to drive. They are probably one of the, if you can afford a Mazda RX8 on fuel, you can probably afford 2 Ferraris on fuel. No, I'm just joking. Probably 1 Ferrari. They are extremely uneconomical, but if you're looking for an economical car, you're on the wrong page and you're looking for the wrong car. If you want a sports coupe, you get a sports coupe, and you just can't, I want a Ferrari but I want economy of a fucking Golf. So no, it doesn't really work like that. So yeah, when you want a sports car, you get a sports car, and you don't care about the economy, but they still have some economy, like 30-ish, where the Mazda has, well, they say 17. I think I get even less sometimes, miles per gallon. So yeah, back to the, see how I got driven away from the story. So back to the Red Dragon, the Mazda Rx8, red one. Had a water leak. Guys, if you've got a water leak, don't try driving them. You need to not drive them, get it recovered. As you can see in the video, my previous video, if you've not seen it, please go watch the video before this one, you can see that it's still starts hot and cold. Absolutely perfect. So why destroy and kill something if it has a chance of reviving? So we're gonna try our best to get it fixed by Pete, put some money into it. It's like a money pit by Rx8, but who gives a heck? I mean, I'm gonna put money in, I don't give a damn. I know a lot of you don't like Rx8s, and I understand why, because they are high maintenance cars. They're not normal cars. You can't just turn them off when you like, and you can't just rev them when you like. There's a certain procedure you got to follow, and you have to stick by it like a Bible. And if you don't, they can flood. When they flood, they are extremely bastards to start, and a flood is not a good if you leave it for too long. So I understand why people don't like the Mazda Rx8s, where Apex seems to go. If you compare it to a normal petrol engine that will last 3 times the age and the mileage, with the rotary will just not last you as much. But it depends who owned it and who's serviced it on time, and have they followed the procedures as it should have been. Because you got to understand, it's not a normal piston driven engine. It's got a rotor, Dorito, if it helps, triangle, 2 triangles, and 1 E-shaft. That's all there is, moving in a sort of eccentric circle way. And that's why you gotta service them even before to the guidelines. So I service my Mazdas every 4,000 miles, 5,000 miles, and I don't care what it cost me to put fuel in, how expensive it is. Because for me, it's like going on an expensive ride. If you go to all the towers, you have to pay to sit on a ride. So for me, an Rx8 is a good fun car. So if you're gonna buy an Rx8 and you're gonna make it into a daily car, I wouldn't advise you to do that, because it's not really that economical or cheap to maintain. Or they rust as well. So they got side seals, they rust away. The catalytic converters do fail. However, the original catalytic converter is worth, I've heard, in scrapyards, £400 to £500. We can always decat them. When you do that, they become MOT, mission failure. And then, because that also, if the cat's blocked, that back pressure damaged the apex again. So there's a lot to it. You got to understand a lot about the Rx8 in order to own one. And you got to be ready and prepared to work on them. And if you can't, you better have the money to take it to your local garage. I don't have that much money. I have some, but I mean, it's annoying to spend that money on the Rx8. But I know it's worth it in the end, because when I invest into my cars, other than my Audi A5 and my black Mazda, I don't care what I spend on them. But when I'm spending on projects, even if I lose £100 or £200 in the end, or even a bit more, as long as I've driven it, I've enjoyed it, and I've put it back on the road, and I've given a good car to somebody, that feeling is just priceless. And sometimes I don't make money, sometimes I make a little bit of money, but it's not something I do to make money. It's not for the money, it's for more passion, which I enjoy, which I like. I've owned 4-5 Rx8s before this. My first one was a very nice car. At that time, I didn't have much money, so I had to sell it, which was quite annoying and frustrating. Then I bought another one, which was LPG, which was quite an interesting one, the LPG one. But it drove perfect. It was bloody economical, absolutely amazing. It had the AEM air intake, cold air intake. It had amazing rims. It was black, but on idle, it could not idle correctly. It would just always shut. So if you're driving and if you pull up the traffic lights, and it should idle, but that car would not idle. It just go off, which was annoying and frustrating. And you don't want to do that on Rx8. That's not the way to turn it off. You always got to rev it to 5,000 RPM, wait 10 seconds, then turn it off. Some people have their own methods. I'm not saying they're wrong, but it's what I have done for years and years and years to all my Mazdas, and they have been always perfect, and always started up next time when I needed to. So, sorry guys. So yeah, where was I? Bear with me, let me take this junction. It is dangerous as fuck. So yeah, as I was saying to you guys, you've got to have the finances and the money to put into cars if you're not going to work it on yourself. It's not the hardest car to work on. It's quite easy. The bumper comes off quite easily. It's just a couple of bolts, but if they are rusted, and they do rust, these RX8s, they will snap, and then you will be shooting yourself. If you're not a hands-on guy, you've got to get a drill machine out. Ideally, you need a garage to work on. If you haven't got a garage or inside, indoor to work on, I just save up, put on the side, and I'd highly recommend getting another small car or any car to do your daily runs, because the RX8 catalytic converter can fail, putting it in limp mode, OMP, oil metering pump, can fail, putting it in limp mode, your spark plugs can fail, if you haven't got the good quality leads or the coil pack, that can fail, your intercooler pipelines, oil lines, they can leak out, burst, fail, your radiator pipes, coolants, they can leak and fail. So there's a lot that can go wrong. However, when you keep on top of these things, they don't fail. So I just tend to, as you can see, my Red Dragon, I mean, I can work on that car myself, but I am just so busy and tired right now from my other routine and work. I just gotta balance things, rather than just giving all my social time on fixing something, when I can give it to a specialist who can look into it more. And if he finds any more niggly bits, he will sort it out while he's there with him, because he also breaks them. And if he needs any parts, any other stuff which is broken on that car, he will also put them in for me. So when he comes back, he will be as happy as any other RX8 on the road. And once that's done, and the bodywork is not great, I might change a door. It's got a very small dent, that big, but it's cheaper to buy a door on the RX8 than painting it. So why would I paint and spend more when I can buy the exact same color, original color door on that car? So once that's done, I'm going to take it in for MOT. It might need a bit of welding, that's common on the RX8. Get that done, get it serviced, and while it's in with Pete, check the oil lines, check the catalytic converter, fix the coolant leak, replace the OMP, and so on. So I do all those small niggly bits on the RX8. So when I know I need to go Wales, Scotland, anywhere, it will go. As long as these things are up to date. Even the worst case scenario, your car's got worn apex seals, it just won't start hot once you turn it off. But if you wait 20 minutes, and let it cool down, start up again, it will start. So don't be scared from the apex seals. They're not that bad, unless they come out off the rotor and fly into the housing and damage the housing. Then you are effed, because where you've got two housings on the rotary engines, which they have the rotor inside spinning in a very interesting circular motion. If the housing gets damaged, it has a chrome film on it, which has to stay smooth as possible for those triangles to fit in perfect and to keep a good compression. If for any reason, due to lack of maintenance, one of those side seals or apex seals come out the rotors and fly inside the combustion chamber in a circle, that will damage the housing, and when you go for a rebuild, they probably will need a new housing, and that can cost a lot of money. Where it comes to a normal rebuild, what they do is if your car just starts and it's not seized in the UK, it's just got a hot start issue, but it still runs, it still drives, but you obviously need a rebuild. When you take it to a rebuild, guys, I would take mine to Ryan Rotaries. Somebody recommended me who I highly trust, but there's other people out there such as Essex Rotaries, quite a few people. You've got another one in Coventry, which is not far from Leicester, MCH Rotaries. So yeah, when it's not so bad and it's just seals, they take it apart and they rebuild anyway, resurface everything, put new seals. That can cost you around 2 to 2.5 grand, 2-ish, 2 to 2.5. But if you damage the housing, well, if you haven't, but unfortunate that it has damage, the symptoms would be the car will not start. It has zero compression. It will not start. So if your car don't start cold, it should start. If it doesn't start, then you've got far more worse damage than as you expected. That can cost a lot more down, maybe over 3 grand, because as far as I remember, the housing was £1,100 each, and you can't even get them new anymore. Some places you can, some places you can't. So the other route would be to get a rebuilt, not a rebuilt, a replacement engine from online, Facebook, eBay, or a new blog from your providers who are doing the rebuild on the car. So that's why when I buy an RX8, I don't buy them to sell them. I just buy them because I like it and I love spending time on them. I'm really enjoying making this video. I hope you guys like it. It could be boring for some, and for some it could be a lot of info on the car. I really want to make a proper video on a Mazda Rx8 where I'm driving it and talking a lot more about it. I can just go on and on about these cars and about the information I have stored in my head over the years of owning these cars. To be honest, touch wood, none of these RX8s have ever broken down on me, simply because I take care of them, I look after them, I service them when they need to be serviced, and I put a good fuel inside. And the other thing I was going to say was the pre-mixing. Now, this is quite an interesting topic of pre-mix, but I have looked into it and researched into this thing. What I know, I'm sure the other guys they're all right in their own way. I'm not saying they're wrong on YouTube. Everybody who talks about premix, they have a logical sense to it, which is absolutely fine. And if they want to do premix to their cars, it's fine. It's how you guys see it. So if you've got the Series 1 RX8 like mine, so the Series 2 is like the newer shape, so there's only 2 RX8s. They didn't make them anymore because of the Euro emissions. That's why they only made the Series 1 and Series 2. Series 2 is I think 2008 and 9 onwards, which is the R3, and Series 1, which one the one we have. They're both rotary engines. They are extremely identical. The only main difference is the oil injection system. So the difference is on those 2 cars, where the one we have has 2 oil injectors on top, like that. So the triangle is spinning and it's missing out the middle area here. So the injector is injecting oil here and here, but it's missing out the middle. It's not good, but neither it's not that bad. It's still lubricating the seals, but it could have done a better job doing it properly, which the OMP pumps in the oil into the oil injectors, which then goes onto your rotaries on the apex seals, keeping them lubricated so they don't wear out as fast as you can. On the Series 2, the new RX8s, they have 3 injectors. That makes more sense, doesn't it? That's how it should be. Which really prolongs the life of the apex seals. Now the reason people premix in a Series 1 because they know about this injector. They only have two, and they are efficient, but not efficient as they can be as 3 injectors. So when you premix, the reason they put high super unleaded or high octane because you're mixing it with oil, so you still need to keep the fuel as ignitable, as volatile as possible. So they premix it, I don't know, per ounce on every liter, or half an ounce, or whatever, which then keeps the seals very well lubricated. So it is good, but it's good, yes. If you premix your car, Series 1 RX8, yes, it's good for the car. But if you don't drive the car hard enough, it's like some people take their RX8s on the track, they take it up to their temperature, they push their cars, and I highly recommend those cars to be pre-mixed because they need that extra lube. And the reason I say that, because when you put that oil into your car and you're not driving it hard enough, and you're driving a normal day-to-day basis, and you're not giving the red lines, there's going to be a carbon buildup on your rotors, because what does oil do? It burns and becomes carbon. And when that happens over time, you will choke the engine of carbon. It will carbonize so much it may even damage the seals rather than doing any good. So while it's doing good, you're doing bad, because you're trying your best to keep the seals happy and lubricated, but while you're doing that, you are not giving it the beans, flooring them. Because when you put the oil in and you give it the beans, you're taking a red line, you're basically burning the excess carbon off while lubricating the seals. That's absolutely fine. So if you're going to premix and you're going to give it the full revs and the beans, take it on a track, have fun with it, then it's fine. But if you're not going to do that, don't premix your car, because believe me, I have never done premix in my last 5 RX8s and they have been absolutely fine. Yeah, you'll end up going on a rebuild route. Yeah, probably need to rebuild after 70,000 miles. So what? Rebuild it. At least you know it's not full of carbon when it goes for rebuild. It has lasted 70,000 instead of 7,000. Because I know somebody who was premixing all the time, a lot. He was just on and on about premixing, and his car actually died on him within the first 5,000 miles. And they went to a specialist, and it was just basically full of carbon inside, carboned up. So they had to do a foam cleaning thing, which is not, again, don't do it, because you will block some lines, air lines and all those lines. To carbon clean your RX8, you just gotta drive them hard enough. That's it. Just put clean fuel, put fuel cleaner in there, and just drive them hard. That's it for guys. That's a lot for today. I've spoke about the RX yesterday. I have other cars in my life other than RX8. I've owned a Range Rover, Jaguar XF, BMW 5 Series, G30, Audi A7, Audi A5, and the list just goes on. These are my favorite cars, but you know, when you repeat cars in your life, that goes to show without even realizing how much you love them and you want them. And there's a couple of cars I have repeated in my life a lot, which was a BMW 5 Series. I don't know why, but I like that car. I've had 3 or 4 of them. Range Rovers, I've had 3 of them. The TDV8 Autobiography, I had one. A few months later I sold it, missed it, bought it again. A Lexus IS250 SEL. That car is highly spec'd out for the age and for the price. You can pick up a Lexus IS250 SEL for 3 grand. A good one with low mileage, 3 to 4 grand. And bloody hell, heated seats, cooling seats, electric blinds, xenons, washers, automatic, leather seats, memory seats. Wow, just sat nav, Mark Levinson sound system. The list just goes on. And for that price, the cooling seats, where the fuck would you get cooling seats? You know, I'm just amazed by the tech on that car. So I've had 4 of them. However, they are boring to drive, not fun as BMW. And the Audi has the best of both worlds with amazing sound systems. So it's a difficult choice. But while I was owning these cars, I've had 5 RX8s. I will take a picture, and in my next video I will show you all my RX8s. I had one which was Ninja Green custom with a full body kit and a big spoiler, which was nice, and I used to get a lot of attention and it was very loud. But the one I showed you in my previous video, the black one with the red and black interior, I absolutely love and adore that car. It's just the color I want. I want the black to be outside, red and black on the inside, with all those optional extras. Yeah, so that RX8 I've owned. I bought it, I missed it, bought it again, knowing they're dangerous in rebuild. And I bought another one again, time after time after time. And it's been about 2 years where I've just bought 2 RX8s. That is absolutely crazy. So without realizing, you realize how much love you have for a car when you keep on buying the same model, the same version, because they have a supreme chassis. And I didn't realize how much I actually loved and enjoyed the RX8 while being shit scared from them blowing up on me, which they never did. So it was about time I grew some balls and saved up for the rebuild, and if it does go wrong, fuck it, we'll rebuild it and enjoy the fuck out of it. Who gives a shit? So yeah guys, that's that. Sorry to bore you to death. I will make a nice video. I keep on saying it, but I will. As I said, I've just started making videos to my channel, so any subscribe or likes or comments really help. I do apologize for bad recording. I just love making videos. I've just been lazy all these years while owning such nice cars and doing so much fun stuff, and I wish I'd made the videos and put it on YouTube, which I never did. Now I don't care how my videos come out to be. I'm just gonna record them and upload them to the YouTube channel and let you guys decide whether they were good or bad. If I've got the bad comments, I've just got to live with them. I don't care. It is what it is. Yeah, so that's it guys. So I shall see you in my next video update, and I will update you guys to my Red Dragon and tell you what's happened to it. Was it a good buy or a bad buy, or was it just a scrap? Time will tell. Until then, I see you guys later guys. Sayonara. Bye bye.